Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Band of War Variety channel. In today's video we're going to be going over some new additions to the currency and coinage collections. So what I did a couple coin roll hunts that I didn't film and upload because I just wanted to do it on my own pace and not have to worry about using the camera and stuff. Honestly, these hunts were kind of stale, but we still did get a couple finds, and I bought a couple things off the neighbor that had some coinage for me, wanted me to look at. So we'll go over that. But first we're going to go over the stuff that I found in the two hunts. So I got them listed here on these box covers. So I did 2 pennies. I did a penny and dime hunt last week. I did a double penny hunt the previous week before that. And we got a couple things new for the collection and for the albums. So we'll go over that first before I get into some of the other stuff I get. We got some new additions to the Banknote album and things like that. But first we're going to start off with the Lincoln Cent album to see what we got put in that. So here we have the box 1 of the dual penny hunt. We had 15 wheat cents, 3 from the 20s. We had 2 1925s, which I needed for the album, as you can see here. One was in slick shape, and this one was in slightly better shape. So we have that there, the 1925. Since we're in this album, the neighbor had, her husband passed away a few years ago, and I guess she found coinage he had, and she knew I did this, so I looked at a couple things. This is a 1909. It's too hammered on the back to see if there's a VDB, which would make it the 1909 VDB. There's no mint mark, so I couldn't tell, so I just made it the 1909. So only about $1.10 for that in a higher mintage, but we got that added in here, and the 1925 from this hunt. So a higher mintage, but not something you see too often for some reason. So that's one of those. Other than that, that's it for this album. So a couple things that went in there. And then we got 7 of those were from the 40s. I kept a 1942 Denver, just because that's something you don't find too often. We got 5.50 from the 50s, and we have 5 Canadian cents. Box 2, we had 18 wheat cents, 1 from 1917, 1 from 1919, 10 from the 40s, 6 from the 50s, and 14 Canadians. 3 of them were young heads, and I added a 1963 young head to the album because I didn't have that date. I found the 2009 S proof in that box, so that was a pretty good find. Not something you see too often, in pretty nice shape, not scratched up or too bad or anything, despite that there, for it being in circulation. So that is pretty good there. And then we had a 1973 S, which I replaced. So if you remember in the last penny hunt video that I did, I found the 1973 S, which is the rarest of the 70s San Francisco mints. This ain't the right album. It's in here. I found it, but it was pretty hammered, so I found a slightly better one to replace that in that box. And then in the newer boxes, I think I replaced one of these. That was nicer, I think a 1948, because it was a nice red brown. That might have been one. I can't remember exactly, but it's one of them. And other than that, that's about it for that album. I did replace, from this hunt, we had 16 wheats, 1 from 1937, 5 from the 40s, 10 from the 50s. I kept the 1952 S, and we had 7 Canadian cents. One was the 2002 Golden Jubilee for Queen Elizabeth, which I add to the album. We'll look at that in a second here. I did replace the 2009 Denver presidency, which is the one that took me the longest to find. And then I found one that was even better looking than one I had in here. So we have that. In the starting 2014 album, I found the 2025 Denver, my mom's wallet. So this wasn't on the hunt. This one, I never found any other ones, so that was hard to find. So we completed all the pennies except for the 2019 West Point, and I changed this reverse to a 2014 from a 2010 because I like to have from the first year of the album. So the only thing left to update in here is the mintage, when the mintage figures come out for these. But this will be the last year for the pennies. So we got that. So that's about it for that. The 1963 Young Heads in here from that hunt. Right here. So that got added. And we added another newer one here that got a couple replacements in here too. I added the 2000, I might have added this, or no, I had that. The 2002 or 2002 Golden Jubilee. As you can see the dates on the obverse of the coin now. It says 1952 to 2002, which was her Golden Jubilee, 50 years of monarchy. But it wasn't the 2002p. Found that, so I faced it the other way to show the date, and then it's a special commemorative, and that's all that got added for that. Of the dime hunt that I did, there was nothing in it, nothing for the albums, a few replacements, but no silver or anything, so it was a junk box. But I did find the 2025 dime in, I think pocket change I got it in. So that's been in here while I added. But no 24 Denver and no 25 Denver yet. So that's all that got added there. Now on to the stuff that I got from the neighbor lady. So I bought off her the 1973 uncirculated mint set. From, I think this is the Philadelphia mint. Now it has a Denver, or it has a S mint in there too, but I think it's mostly Philadelphia. So we got the S mint, uncirculated, the regular Philly, dime, nickel, $50, and the Ike dollar in the quarter. But I really wanted to cut these $50 and Ike dollar out and use it in the album, because that's a low mintage only issued for circulation set. But this is the 1973 S here. So and this is just the 1973P, which also was an only issued for circulation date. So I don't want to cut it out and put it in here. And another reason I don't want to cut it out is because it's a full set, so I hate to ruin that. The reason I did it with the quarter that I got in the last grab bag, the 1987 quarter that was in the uncirculated Philadelphia mint set, was because it came by itself. Somebody else cut it out of the set and just gave you the quarter, so it didn't matter. But I hate to wreck a full set by cutting stuff out of it, so I just want to keep this intact for those purposes. But so I got that, a 1973 uncirculated mint set. She did have an 1820 a matron head large cent that I didn't buy for reasons I'll explain here. One of these. I couldn't count how many stars were on it, indicating that it would be the 1817 13 stars or 15 stars, because they were so heavily worn and I couldn't make a date out on it. But I could tell it was a matron head, so it was anywhere from 1816 to 1835. But obviously with no date, I can't pinpoint an exact value or a rarity, so I didn't even bother getting that. So I left that with her. She had, I think, an uncirculated, or a 1964 Kennedy $50 in a case with Kennedy on it and the John F. Kennedy stamp, which I didn't get, obviously, because I already have nice 64s. And she had some other silver $50, a couple silver eagles, things like that. Other things I didn't get because I already had. But that is, I did get a couple Ike dollars off of her, one or two. I think I got this 1971 Denver. I can't remember if that was already in here. It was either that or one or two of those, but I know for sure I got the bicentennial Denver off of her, because she had that and I didn't have it. So we got a couple things added to that. She did have a bunch of 79p Anthony dollars, which I didn't really check for varieties. I should have, but they were all the 79p's, so didn't take any of them. So we got a few things there, and then we have the banknote album stuff that I got. I did move a couple things around in here. She had another 1957. I think it was this one. Or was it that one? Yeah, it was a 1957 silver certificate with coffee stains on it. So I took that just because it was a 57 instead of a 57A, so that's another date that I have. So I added that. And then after that, I'm probably going to be removing, if something else gets added, one of these ones that I don't need. Like, I have two uncirculated 2017s. Here we don't need that really. And then she had the other stuff is kind of insignificant things, but she had a $200 commemorative note with George Bush on it here. So it says, if there's a lot of little things on here. It says we have long live talk radio. We have Ronald Reagan as political mentor. George H.W. Bush's campaign advisor and mentor. Note is moral legal tender to preserve the U.S. Constitution, Series 2001. It obviously carries the design of the small head 20 note here, as you can see. It obviously carries the same engravings, just with an extra zero added, $200. And then if you flip to the back, it again carries the White House design from the small head with "We Like Broccoli," a bunch of different campaign stuff, an oil rig, things like that. I just wanted it because it's a neat campaign note. She was fine with me not giving her nothing for it, obviously, because it's not legitimate currency, but we have this, which I just like little things like that. So that's the $200 note. And then for foreign section, she did have one note that I wanted to get. A $1 Bahamas note, Central Bank of the Bahamas. So as you get a good look at that series for 2001, we got Sir Lynden O. Pindling. It's on there. And then we have, this is the police band on the back. So I added that just because that was neat. I like foreign stuff. And then I did add this for my childhood. This doesn't have much to do with anything of this other stuff, but this is from a toy cash register my sister used when she was real young. The cash register itself probably dates from like the late 90s, and I still have the original change from it. So these dates are probably fairly close to when they were actually made. Now, obviously, there's a typo in that. There is no 1999 S nickel that was issued for circulation. If it is, it was a special strike. But you have that. And the dime. And they gave you 3 different quarter state designs. They gave you the Pennsylvania, the Connecticut, and then the Delaware with Paul Revere on it. But yeah, so I just stuck that in here in a piece of tape so they don't get all wrecked in there. But that's, and then I just moved stuff around in the back here, my original play money from when I was a kid, $1,000 bill. But yeah, so those are all been changed up. But we have those additions. So that's really about it for the changes to the albums. So I just did some hunting. What I got coming up next is a quarter and nickel hunt, which should hopefully be more eventful and get us some more stuff, which I will film and put up on the channel. But for now, that's about it for what we got. So guys, like I said, that's about it for what we got. Not anything too special, but more additions. You can never complain about more additions to the albums and things like that. Like I said, we'll be doing in my next hunt, we'll be doing a quarter and nickel hunt, double. So hopefully they're not circulated or something. I can hunt those, and we'll be doing that on video, and that'll be uploaded to the channel, so you get to see that. It's just these hunts, I wanted a little break from that, so I just did it myself at my own pace, just things like that, not having to film or anything, which I'll do periodically. And then we've been continuing with the World War II series. That's been taking up most of the channel. I had some ideas for a few more videos that I can make when they come out, or when I get done with that, with World War II series. It's coming to the end. We still probably got like 40 missions left. And then I got the 250 subscriber special that'll be getting uploaded. I'm trying to wait for 250, but I'm probably going to see how close I am after World War II series. I see I got a couple more. I think I'm like up to 244 now. So we'll see where we're at then. If I get to 250 before the end of World War II series, I'll upload my 250 subscriber special that I have waiting for that. But if not, after World War II series, it'll be uploaded regardless, and you'll get to see that, my film that I made, because I haven't made one of those in a while. And I was thinking about maybe a couple other ideas just to get some variety up on the channel, but that's what it's looking like down the road. So what we got upcoming next is more World War II series, and next week's hunt is going to be quarters and nickels. So we'll have those albums ready and seeing what we get added to that. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's video.